Give up on your legal status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. What's happening? How y'all doing? All right, we're live. Today we're talking about how our lawsuit exposed delays that should have not happened in people's immigration cases. Folks, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states of America and across the world, helping you solve your immigration problem. Now, here's the deal. We also share information here on the live shows to help you even prevent those problems from happening. So if you have any questions, of course, you're welcome to drop it down in the comment section, and I'll try my best during this show to answer it. But if I don't get to you, not able to answer you, or it's just not as in-depth an answer that you were hoping for, of course, generally people have follow-up questions. You're welcome to give us a call, or at the number above my head on YouTube and Facebook. All right. Unfortunately, on TikTok, I'm not able to share that kind of information. I think it's because I don't have technically a business account. I don't know that much about TikTok. I'm just going with the flow. But anyway, my point is, y'all, because you watch us live, some of y'all watch like almost every day, which is pretty neat. I appreciate y'all. Here's the deal. We offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Now, not everyone qualifies for this, unfortunately, just because we have limited time in a day. And sometimes we can email you a free guide, and that could be enough. But for you to unlock that, please share. This is a secret code. Every day is typically a different secret code, and this helps our team prioritize your inquiry, your request for a strategy session, or maybe it's just one question or a quick question. Of course, by the way, the questions are always quick. It's the answer that takes more time to formulate and to explain to you. So I always think it's interesting when people say they have a quick question. But anyways, the best way to do it is give us a call. Okay, right up here if you're on YouTube and Facebook, or go to our website, greencardguys.com. If you're at work or whatnot, you're just busy, you forget it, send us a DM. Okay, today's secret code is TLG. Okay, for Ting Law Group. Very easy. Hopefully you don't forget it. TLG. All right, and that allows us to know like which days people are following the show, by the way, as well. So anyways, today's story that I want to share with you, all right, of course, I'm not disclosing the client's names or anything like that, is that when we decided to offer our services for a mandamus lawsuit when we realized that the person, our client's case was stuck, and literally stuck because the USCIS had their petition on file for more than a year. Okay, and it wasn't I-130, it was a 129F. Okay, there's a 129F for the K visa. This is for the fiance petition. And the reason why it was stuck in the first place is because, it's because the person had some crimes. All right, the person has some crimes. So when that happens, unfortunately, for fiance visa, it triggers a different workflow to conduct more background security check. And unfortunately, it's only supposed to do that when there's some crimes against children. So it's supposed to trigger essentially this law called the Adam Walsh Act. But for this person, it wasn't anything to do about children. Okay, fortunately, I think it had to do possibly like a DWI or something, but definitely not about children. So this case was actually referred to our law firm by another immigration attorney, and they don't help with mandamus lawsuits. So we were happy to help out and step in for them. And so fortunately, we sued. And about, I think it was 2 months after that, less than 2 months after the lawsuit, when this was initiated, we got traction. We got their case their petition back on track, and it was approved in less than 1 month after that. So that gives you an example of when the case, whether it was at USCIS or State Department, you think it's pending, like literally pending, like it's processing. But in some scenarios, it's literally stuck. And you're thinking, and that's where immigration attorney will help, or sometimes, right? Well, the way we, and that's why we have a time, essentially like a processing time chart. Nothing's black and white, unfortunately, in timing, but we have a time chart to know when to take certain actions on a case. So if, because traditionally the fiance visa petition itself, step number one, should not take more than 1 year. It's supposed to take, I mean, not supposed to, again, nothing black and white, but traditionally it's going to take about 3 to 8 months, but not 1 year. So when that person told me that there was a criminal history, that's when I knew that it went off track to another workflow with USCIS. And usually with the workflow, when there's a crime that triggers the Adam Walsh Act, the law, which, by the way, I think the promoter of this law who encouraged this was the person who's the host of America's Most Wanted. I rarely watch TV these days, but I think it's the same person, John Walsh or something, the parent. Unfortunately, I think his kid got kidnapped and whatnot, but I think it was influenced by him, his story. So anyway, it's supposed to trigger a background check, all right, for biometrics, because typically the petitioner does not have to do biometrics. It's very rare. It's only when it triggers the Adam Walsh Act, but he never got the biometrics notice. So that's why essentially he wasn't supposed to get the biometrics notice. It got stuck. So again, this is, you might think, well, my case is not going to be like that. I hope not. But I'm sure if you have an idea that your case is taking too long, and no, I'm not saying like you filed last month, the petition or something went to the next step like 2 weeks ago. That's a little early, right? I mean, I wouldn't file a lawsuit for it. You're welcome to ask us questions about it. Like, what is the top possible next step? What is a typical next step? And on average, when should that next step happen? Happy to share that with you. But ultimately, you likely have a pretty good idea if a case is taking too long. And we're happy to answer that question, like, is it time to file a lawsuit or not? Some of y'all are very willing to do it, and some of y'all don't. Some of y'all that are willing to do it, and I'm not sure when to file that. But for those that are not quite too sure about it, maybe you're hearing about it for the first time ever, yes, you can sue. America is all about suing each other, essentially, not, suing another party. So you do have America for due process to get a decision on your case. Are you going to like the decision? Maybe not, unfortunately. Sometimes the USCIS or State Department might ask for more information, and maybe you don't have the requested information. So that's part of our workflow to as a courtesy review. Like, let's say you're interested about mandamus lawsuit, and even if you have a lawyer currently for that, let's say petition or adjustment of status or asylum or applying for naturalization. Let's say you have a lawyer for that. That's cool. Glad you do. Sometimes that's how people hear about us anyway, from your current lawyer. We're happy to help with their cases. But we just like to check. We just like to be a little nosy to say, well, I just want to make sure we're even eligible in the first place. Because I would hate for us to, you to pay us the full fee for this, and then the U.S. attorney gets back to us and do you have proof of this? Because you need this to go to the next step. So we try our best to be proactive to ask those kind of questions, like, let's make sure you're even eligible to file for this immigration benefit or application. All right. So this is probably more than most law firms do. But essentially, we're always thinking, even though we may be only helping for one step of the way, it's for a mandamus lawsuit, it's usually a very significant step, because that will get your case moving to a decision, visa issuance or refusal, or decision on a USCIS application. So anyways, hopefully that helps you with more context, that it's not that simple that, oh, my case is My case online shows actively in review or whatever, however they call it in the account. By the way, I did ask a USCIS representative on the hotline. Okay, I asked them last week. I try to ask the same question every time I call because I'm always going to get a different person. So just kind of like taking a poll. And I asked, by the way, my client's been telling me about this USCIS account update on their account or status update on their account, like in the portal. And like, for example, actively in review or something. And they're like, yeah, that's not accurate. And basically those representatives feel bad because of course they get all those questions. What the hell does this mean? They're trying to figure out also. So yeah, don't get hung up on what your internal account will say on the USCIS. It's all, I don't know. They just don't have the proper systems to have it share the accurate information. So for example, I think it's been telling people, oh, your cases expect another update in like 4 weeks or 2 weeks, something like that sounds amazing, but not true. Okay. All right. Now I can continue on and on about stories, but I just want to share that one for today and answer any questions. Thanks. Thanks, political asylum lawyers. That is Brian Manning and his law firm. They do great work. He's very kind to say some kind words himself. He says, for folks watching John, you should hire him for mandamus case. He has helped. I've helped his clients as well with great success. It's a great way to move things forward. Absolutely. Thank you, Brian Manning and your team for helping our clients as well. So yeah, if you have an asylum case, you're welcome to check out his page as well. Of course, we have certain referrals in our network, but essentially, whether like if another lawyer is referring to us or we're referring out, always conduct your own due diligence. Read the reviews. I think I have a video somewhere on this like social media platform about what questions to ask a lawyer. I get it. Look, I know I can't help every single immigrant that's trying to get status in America. It's just not literally possible. My mental health would be, I probably wouldn't have any capacity in that sense, right? There's a lot of great lawyers out there. You just need to have certain questions ready to go. I mean, as simple as like, how do I communicate with you? What's the best way to communicate? How can I ask questions? Do I email? Do I do something else? Do I call in? Actually, calling us is not the best way when you're a client because we use technology. Of course, you're welcome to call in, but for us, we actually have 3 options before you call in. Email, we try to respond in 24 to 48 hours. Self-schedule a meeting. You don't even have to call to ask for a meeting. You can self-schedule. We don't block it or anything like that. We time block in that sense. We don't do it every single day. And number 3, a support ticket. We think like a tech company. So if any of the first 2 options don't work for some odd reason, you're welcome to submit a support ticket. So because that alerts one of our team members automatically to make sure we don't drop the ball. Sometimes it can happen, but very few times. Or especially if like it's on the weekend and we don't answer the phone. We have a team member that does answer the phone for a few hours on Saturday, but in terms of like when you're as a client, that's not going to necessarily help you. So we've had clients do that too. Like maybe if they got an RFE or something, they submit a support ticket. So at least it's on red alert, essentially. All right. So let me answer some questions. But yeah, thanks again, Brian. Appreciate your referrals and your kind words. Envious Edge on TikTok. Thanks, Maria. Maria's helping us out. She's on our marketing team. She's pinning some questions as a comment here. Envious Edge, I need to check out your channel. Is a U.S. citizen applying for parent? Will U.S. birth certificate be enough to prove citizenship? Yes, for the sponsor. Absolutely. But you want to make sure, some people forget, let's say you're sponsoring for your dad. You want to make sure that the birth certificate has your dad's name. All right, because that's the reason for your birth certificate, not just for identity purposes. So because some dads want to acknowledge the birth later on. Let's see. Until the next comment. Let's see. Dwayne. Hi, Dwayne on YouTube. So if you and your wife divorced, what effect would that have your wife's petition for your son? Oh, okay. Stepson. Yeah, that's interesting. We haven't had that situation to the extent that, a client want to just try to just continue the case. Hmm. Yeah, that would be interesting. Of course, my gut lawyer instinct it would say like it's likely going to be denied. And let's say y'all try to scut by, slide right in, and let's say the USCIS officer doesn't ask that question, like, or let's say to ask your maybe future ex-wife, oh, are you still married to your spouse, who's the biological parent? Hmm. Yeah, that's a tough one because I would think even if they do make an error, that it's going to come back to bite. All right, so Dwayne, you just want to play it as safe as possible, and that's so. Yeah, that's a tough one, and I would say average processing time, assuming your son is already here, but maybe not. That if the son was here, then in the U.S., I mean, then average 12 months. If abroad, it could take at least 18 months on average. Someone asked, okay, trying to set this up so it's like not awkward. Okay, there we go. All right, sorry, folks on TikTok. I'm trying to fix this view. All right, there we go. Okay, can I travel to a couple countries with advanced parole with a pending 45? Yes, with some caution, as long as you don't have as long as you don't have any crimes or arrest. Okay, if you do, then you definitely need to speak with an attorney just in case. All righty. That's my short answer. But yeah, that's with the adjustment of status, or even if you have someone has advanced parole with TPS or DACA, same analysis. The first question is, do you have any arrests or criminal history? I know on YouTube, you say congrats for fixing it. I don't remember what I fixed, but I feel like I'm fixing something every day actually with the team, not so much with the house. Which, by the way, folks, if you appreciate the way we share information, please on Facebook and YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe down below if you're not currently subscribed, and click the bell for future notifications. I know I can get a little annoying on a notification, probably because we go live every day, Monday through Friday. And then there are some days I miss, unfortunately. But if you're on TikTok, please tap the screen. I think that's the best way to show some love. And of course, if you know anyone that has an immigration question, or just know that they're going through the process or about to, you're welcome to share our channel, copy a link and text it to them, or whatever is best way for you. Just we're coming out here. Before the pandemic, I conducted Know Your Rights presentations in person, of course. But now it's honestly at this point just for easier to do it on YouTube and all these social media platforms, which I still miss the in-person interaction, of course. But consider this like a Know Your Rights workshop. So I always try to share information in that respect. Okay, not just like random information. Well, you might think it is because a lot of cases, a lot of different scenarios, a lot of immigration problems. Okay, so let me go to Maria. You got a question on TikTok. I probably missed your last one. All right, there we go. Mick. Sorry, sorry if I mispronounce anyone's name here. You got your marriage-based GC interview 3 months ago. Congratulations on interview at least, and you haven't heard back yet. Yeah, it's tough. What should you do? If it allows, I would try to submit an inquiry on the USCIS tools and resources page. All right, that it's outside processing time. That's a strange thing. You might have an interview, but it's technically still within the processing times. And unfortunately, that page, USCIS website, doesn't have a specific box option for like after you already had an interview, submit inquiry. Doesn't have that. But that would be ideal. Like that's something I would create if I was an IT or whoever for the web designer or something, to make it as easy for everyone possible. All right. By the way, the strategy session, we offer it for 15 minutes at no cost to you. The secret code today is TLG. So if you're at work or something, just hopping on and off, and you don't want to forget the code, just send us a DM. Unfortunately, on YouTube, I don't think you could do that. Maybe one day. Rulie Queen. Jamelia Rulie Queen, after you file marriage-based application, what is the first thing you're going to get? I think you normally get a receipt notice. Okay. It average 3 weeks to 5 weeks. Then after that, the second notice is a biometrics, not for the petition, not for the sponsor, but for the beneficiary, the immigrant, if that person is in the United States. If abroad, then that person's not going to get that biometrics notice. And I think you said for adjustment of status. So that's why I inferred that your spouse would be here in the US. Tronell, what's up? You got an RFE on 45. You sent it back. Then they received it, but sounds like you mean you can't see the progress. Yeah, unfortunately. Y'all, I wish that USCIS would spend, unfortunately, you would have to spend millions of a lot of money on this to have a case tracker like the Domino's pizza. I'm not sponsored by Domino's, but every time I've ordered, which is not that often, but every time we order, we try to do it at home with the kids. But it's Domino's pizza tracker. It's so accurate that like I think it even says like the pizza is ready for pickup, or I think it's so good that it actually gives you like a what do you call it? A countdown. Like you have a pretty good idea. Like it says like 5 minutes left or something. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing if USCIS or State Department especially could say, yeah, it's an admin processing 221G. We got your DS 5535, or with USCIS, we got your RFE. We've literally opened the file, and it's going to take 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, right? That would be great. Okay. The reason why some of y'all, if you already called my office, we can go through the process more quickly than USCIS, especially, or most other law firms, is because leadership, so me, we provide among my other leaders. So I guess not just me, but we do offer bonuses, incentives for our team members to not just meet goals, but exceed our goals. Okay. So anyways, USCIS likely does not incentivize their own team members. Sorry, Marie, if I missed it. Let's see. All right, we got so again, by the way, we do offer strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Hey, let me answer this one. Okay, Mo Glee would be next after Philip. After I file for your parent, will it cover younger siblings? When you're filing for your parent, okay, you have to be the U.S. citizen. And no, it will not cover siblings, because siblings you also have to be U.S. citizen to sponsor siblings. Some of you already knew that, but some people have asked if you could sponsor as a resident for your siblings. And no, unfortunately, this is for sponsoring your siblings is a family preference category. That is F4. When Congress was, before 2020, when Congress was thinking about reforming immigration, they were actually thinking about getting rid of the F4 category for siblings. So that's one reason, but also a second reason why you want to just go ahead and file for your sibling, even if your sibling is like, no, I'm cool. I'm good in Vietnam. I'm good in my country. I'm chill. Like, there's a reason why they say that. Is because they either have a really cush job, or like in Vietnam or in other countries, the culture is like, I'm not saying this for everyone. I know they work very hard, but compared to American culture or in USA, they're a lot more relaxed. I think in people in Europe in general, something about America, when you touch down to America with your own 2 feet, it's like, man, I got to go to work because you got to pay taxes here. What I'm trying to say here, a lot of people call in and say, I should have sponsored my sibling many years ago, because I re-explain, or maybe they're speaking with us the first time. I explained to them the wait time. Okay, so a key date for those in family preference is family preference. I'm sorry, priority date. When you have a family preference category like siblings and you're a U.S. citizen, you have priority date. Generally, it's a 10-year wait time. So it's in everyone's interest. Like, if you don't want complaints from your sibling who's in your country or their country, just go ahead and file that petition, folks. They don't need to sign it. Only you do. And technically, you don't need their permission. In fact, think of it as like a birthday gift, okay? Or a Christmas gift or some kind of gift, all right? Gift for the future. Because my goodness, some people just generally think that, okay, because I think it's just human behavior that if a case takes a long time or something, like, oh, it takes so long, so I'm not going to file it. Well, that doesn't make sense, actually, if you think about it, because just get your ticket, file now so you get your ticket in line, essentially. And that's called the priority date. Okay. It's not just for siblings, family preference. There's a lot of other ones, like you're sponsoring a child under 21, sponsoring a married adult child. All right. Those are different scenarios, different options, or you're a sponsor who's a resident sponsoring for your uh, immigrant spouse. Okay. That's also F2A. All right. So, anyways, give your family a gift for the future. If I work without a work permit, how would that affect my green card process? So the forms do ask, okay, at least the 485 form does ask, have you worked without authorization? For us, as always, we tell the truth on application. For the most part, everyone has worked without authorization. Okay, take it or leave it. But check mark yes. Here's where it's important legal strategy wise. If you have a sponsor, married sponsor who's a resident, it does not waive that violation. Yes, it's still a violation, but is it an inadmissibility ground? No, it's not. But it is technically a violation. So they can use that against you. So that's why we suggest that even if you file a petition through a sponsor who's a resident, eventually that spouse really should apply to become a citizen, because when you're sponsored by a US citizen, naturalized or born in America, it waives several violations, and one of them is working without authorization. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. There could be a lot more context. You have maybe a follow-up questions, but for the purpose of TikTok, this is as summarized as I can get it. All right. Man, y'all have a lot of great questions. Thanks so much. I'm going to go live Monday through Friday. So if you want to hop back in tomorrow, you're welcome to do that. I'm probably going to answer 3 more questions. Then I have to eat. I have to record some training videos for the team and then have a team meeting and then do some work. Oh, wait, everything I do is work related. What am I talking about? Okay, so fulfilling our mission to help you get the legal status you deserve. Okay, folks. Okay, K Suite 1208. You said your mother filed an I-130 for your dad and had you on the application because you were under 18. Okay, how long ago was this, K Suite? Is it a long time ago? Has your dad's case had any movement? It sounds like a situation where, I mean, there's a lot of follow-up questions, of course, I have. My premier attorneys would have. So you're welcome to schedule an appointment. By the way, folks, I plan to have more a better explanation of certain cases. So it's a little bit more streamlined. So it's not me answering questions live as well. I'm going to try to do that as a recorded, like uploaded video, at least on YouTube purposes. And that way y'all can track it kind of like our timeline, essentially, our free guide, especially folks that have not filed the case at all and you're interested in the process. That's my plan one day. Okay. Did I say 3 more questions? BB Medina, let me pin your comment. All right, BB Medina on TikTok. These are all great questions, but a lot of these questions are pretty pivotal. So possible next steps, right? Her dad had voluntary departure 15 years ago. He now has U visa. Okay, so congratulations on him having U visa. Could his 485 still be denied? No, we've had clients that had a prior removal order and still got approved for 485, and that's because there's a certain law for T visas, which is trafficking, and trafficking meaning labor as well, not just like sex trafficking or smuggling in that sense. Yeah, I need to slow it down a little bit. But also, anyway, for U visa, They both have a provision in the law that essentially allows them to bypass this jurisdictional issue, even when there's a removal order. So, wonderful question, because I know a lot of lawyers might not know that, but we still want to proactively try to get that prior case vacated, okay, from court, that order vacated. That way, just not on the record anymore. But is it necessary? No, but it's just better for the record, especially for customs when coming in and out of the country in the future. All right. So key thing, shoot, I forgot what your name was on TikTok, but oh, BB. Okay, BB. So you want to make sure a lot of tips were surrounding this. So you're welcome to give us a call or DM us the secret code TLG. All right. But the deal is U visa. I don't know what year is it your dad? I think you said what year your dad is on U visa is valid for 4 years. Right at the 3 year mark is when you can start applying for the 485. But you do not want to wait until after the 4th year. Some people wait and then you're SOL. Okay, you can't. There is an exception, but you don't want to take advantage of that exception if you could file between the 3 and 4 year mark. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that they have that, but they do. All right, Kareem on YouTube. Why does USCIS not make a decision on a let's see, on a case been over 8 months after interview? Okay, great question. So the why? They're either inefficient or they don't care. There's no incentive for their team members, USCIS officers, at least for those reasons. I mean, I never worked for USCIS, so I don't know, but having managed my own team, I just think it's just like any other company. USCIS is a government entity, right? An agency, but essentially I consider it like a company because I coach lawyers as well from time to time. So yeah, essentially the USCIS policy manual does state specifically, all right, that 120 days, if it's past 120 days, they're basically saying, sue me, all right, for your status, for a decision or case. That's actually the only one that states it on the USCIS policy manual, saying, like file federal action in federal court or federal district court or something like that. So yours is over 8 months. 120 days is 4 months, so it's already double that time. Kareem, you want to take some action. Again, this is one of those scenarios. A lot of people think, well, it's already been 8 months. USCIS is gonna get to me, right? No, because we have many clients after they get the interview, they get this decision in like less than a week. So why couldn't they do that for you? I don't know. I just gave you 3 possible reasons: no incentive, not organized, and they just don't care. So if you're over 8 months, you might want to consider filing a lawsuit. Okay, they actually allow it. It's in the policy manual. So why not take advantage of that? All right. You're welcome, Ruly Queen. And yeah, I hate that you have to do more work just to get your status, but that's just the reality. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, Maria, let's get at least one more question because I think I may have miscounted. Let's get one more question. Let's see. Okay, Jimmy, hopefully I answered your question about the work permit. That was similar to someone else, about being able to work or not. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna pin TPXO on TikTok real quick. More so because it's top of mind for me. So a client asked this the other day. The client got married in Texas. So at least in Texas, your state where you live could be different. TPXO asked, how does one go about changing a last name when marrying an American and you're here you're Canadian on a TN visa, which for other folks, that part doesn't matter, relevant to them. But if you're getting married in Texas, at least, there's no requirement to change your last name by court order. Now, if you're changing your first name or let's say your middle name, you do need a court order. Now, if it was me, if you were changing your first name. So if you need a court order, I would do that first, file an application, a motion to change name with the family court in Texas and get that completed first before you file for your immigration benefit residency green card in America to USCIS. Because if you prefer to just have it clean as possible in terms of your like on your identity cards, I get it. But don't worry, that's not the last option. Like you can, if you just want to keep your name on that kind of paperwork, like your maiden name, essentially your current name, then another option to wait instead of going to family court is eventually when you become a U.S. citizen, you apply for it on the application N-400. It does ask that question: do you want to change your name, and what is that? What is that proposed name? But keep in mind for oath ceremony, for naturalization on that, it does take longer. Not necessarily for the interview itself, but the oath ceremony would have to be in front of a judge. But otherwise, if you don't change your name, the oath ceremony is not in front of a judge, right? Because they have to legally go through that process as if you were in court. But let's say you're only changing your last name, which might be your original question. Yeah, that is your original question. I eventually getting to your answer. You do not, in Texas, you don't have to get a court order. Okay. You can just, I think it's just, there's nothing in the law that says you have to go through a process. So on the USCIS applications, you could just put your spouse's last name instead of your maiden name. But there is a part that says other names used, another question, and that's when you would put your maiden name. Okay. So you can basically tie it together, all your names. And who knows, maybe you say like, anyway, that answers that question. Witty, you have okay, one more question. All right. These are great questions. Love answering it. Try to put you in the right direction. Okay, Witty, your question on TikTok, someone else asked me for a video on basically what questions could be asked at an interview. I will do that. Let me write it down again. Okay. Okay. Video about interview questions. Okay. Written down. It's on my to-do list. All right. I will try to do like a short version on TikTok because that's where you're at. But you might have to go the full version on YouTube. So congrats on the interview schedule. Is that a marriage case or is that a different family relationship or is it employment? Because a prep is different. But essentially, if it's a marriage case, you definitely do want to have recent evidence of bona fide marriage, meaning, let's say when you filed a case, you had 3 months worth of bank statements you shared that was joint account. So essentially from that time, the last one you sent, let's say May 2023 was the last bank account you sent, I would take to the office, USCIS office, June all the way until present time. Okay. That's an example that I would do. And they usually ask for it at the beginning after you take the oath and things like that in the little office. All right. All right, folks. A lot of great questions. I'm not able to answer all of them right now, but if you enjoyed the way we share content, please tap the screen on TikTok, hit the thumbs up on Facebook and YouTube. And if you have special requests like this, I forgot your name, Witty or something on TikTok, I think. If you have special requests, send us a DM. I greatly appreciate it because you may have asked in this comment section, but we could have missed it. So please DM us. In today's code, if you do want that strategy session, unlock those free 15 minutes, the code is TLG. All right, folks, thank you so much, and y'all have a wonderful day.